Hi, Deni. So first of all, thank you for joining me for a minute. So let's just dive in and just tell us a little bit about what you do, who you are, how you help people. Just a little recap of your offer and what you do.
Yeah, my name is Deni, and I own a marketing consulting agency. My niche is lawyers, so I help them with their case acquisition strategy just to make it more efficient. So that's my target audience, and I've been in business for 3 years now.
Would you, I hate to use labels, but would you call yourself a consultant?
I would call myself a consultant, yes. An entrepreneur. I think I identify more with an entrepreneur. However, with my service definitely going into the law firms and definitely consulting and seeing what they have in place and how could they make it more efficient. And it just depends on the size of the firm. So they have different needs. So my job is to go in there and do a consultation and see if our service is the right fit for them, and if it's not, we'll refer them to somebody else.
So your high ticket offer is actually a retainer. It's a service, and it's a retainer. Yes.
Yeah, monthly retainer. Yes.
Yep. Cool. And so before we started working together, before you joined the program, what were some of the problems or the hurdles that you were facing in the business?
Okay. Yeah. Before I came to, before we talked on the phone, and even before we connected with our call, I watched your webinar, and I normally can't even sit through most webinars. Usually I'm like, dude, get to the point. Like I need to go. Like I'm busy. And with your webinar, it was the first one that I actually stayed the whole way. And I actually used what you suggested in the webinar, and I actually applied it like right away into one of my posts, and I was like, wow, I want more. So then that's when I agreed to book a call with you. So I'm like, if this is just scratching the surface of what is possible, I want to implement more of this, and I want to know exactly the blueprint. So that's why I agreed to get on the call with you.
Yeah. I remember you told me that on the phone, pretty much right away. Yeah. Which makes me really happy because I know being in the industry and I myself have seen several webinars, as I'm sure you have as well. And so one of the things when I sat down to create ours was I want somebody to go through it and feel like they did get some sort of wins, from just the webinar, rather than just getting fluff, because there's a lot of that out there. So it was really exciting when you were like, oh my gosh, didn't you say it was your most engaged post, or was it the most?
It was my most engaged post since I've been posting consistently for about 6 months to 8 months, and that was what I took from the webinar. I applied it, and I just kind of went with what you said, with just in general, and it was my most engaged post that I've had for like 6, 8 months, and I was like, wow, like this stuff is awesome. So yeah.
Yeah. And so with trying to sell your high ticket offer, before the program, before you came into this, before you started applying this framework, would you say it was getting your message out there in front of the right people? Was it just attracting clients overall? What do you feel like were the biggest roadblocks?
I think because I'm, a consulting marketing agency, a lot of the people that I think marketing consultants or agency owners approach, they're a little bit skeptical because I think from what I've heard that they've gone burned before. So I would get sales calls, but I feel like it was really difficult to connect because it was sort of like resistant. And I felt like it took a lot of effort, and there was a lot of objections, and it was a lot of, it just seemed that I was trying really hard I mean, my job is not to convince someone, but it felt like that. It felt like I was trying to convince them. And it didn't really feel good because at the end of the sales calls, it was like, you know what I mean? Another one of the same kind of thing. And with I think I'm jumping ahead, but after now doing the framework with the client that I just signed on, it was really easy. He actually, he didn't have any objections. He basically sold himself. I was just there to answer, like how the process was going to go and just, figure out the investment and how that was going to go and just figure out stuff with his team or whatever. But it was really easy. And he even said, when I asked him, how did you find me? And he said, oh, I've been following your posts and everything that you say makes sense. I believe that you can get me the results that you say you're going to get me. And I'm like, it was just amazing to hear that because I have been putting, the following your framework. I've been posting consistently, engaging with my audience on LinkedIn because I use LinkedIn for my outreach. And it was just like the easiest sales call like I've had. It was like it could be like this every time. This is great. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's the difference of getting off a sales call and feeling on top of the world versus getting off a sales call and feeling like completely defeated, yeah. And having your confidence, because that's the thing is so many coaches and consultants, their confidence will get knocked really, really easily and really quickly when they get off a sales call. It just goes terribly,
Yeah.
And so you went through the program, and I do have to say this for everybody listening, Deni is a perfect example of somebody who, because I want to touch on this really quick. Deni, you also told me on our first call, when you enrolled in the program, you told me that you had taken several, I don't know if it was courses or programs or coaching before. I think you even said like $10,000 worth of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I spent a lot of money on courses. Like I'm not afraid to invest in the right courses because I believe in investing in yourself to grow as a business owner, as a person, and just in general. So I'm not afraid to invest in the right, people and in the right programs. But yeah, with the programs that I had invested before, like the module is like just send a bunch of cold emails. And I mean, there's more to it than that. Of course, there's the copywriting and all this stuff, but it's like more in mass. It doesn't really connect with the people. So I would get sales calls, but they were hard. They were really hard sales calls. They weren't fun. Like, I'm not gonna lie, they weren't that fun. Not like it's been the last couple of times since I joined your program and I started implementing the program in 30 days. I onboarded one client, and within 30 days of applying the framework, and I had been trying with other strategies that they teach you, like cold calling and cold emails and just automating, like with bots on LinkedIn, and it was just like not working. And I'm just like I was really frustrated because I'm like, why is this not working? And that was just like a big roadblock that I had to overcome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And this was one of the most exciting things for me to see, because I could feel your eyes opening to, like you said, what's possible. You're like, if I could get on every sales call now and actually talk to somebody who's already sold and just wants to give me their credit card information, basically, that would be fun. And this first high ticket client that you signed within 30 days of applying the framework, they reached out to you out of the blue, as you said, right? Or it felt like that because, yeah.
And previous to that, I was doing cold emails, like I said, a bunch of them. I was buying lists. I was going through my whole LinkedIn. I was automating everything. I was going through each person and just, sending them messages and like nothing. And since I applied the framework within 30 days, people, this guy just reached out to me and he's like, here's my email, here's my number. When you have time, can you please give me a call? And I said, well, this is my schedule and this is the time that works for me. And it felt so good. And I didn't feel like I was chasing. It was more like I felt like he respected my time and he respected what I did. And it hasn't always been that way in the past. So it was a really nice feeling to feel. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say overall you're just now you're enjoying sales just overall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I'm like, I want more because I want to, help people and I want to see how our unique method could really change, their business and also their life. Because I know that once you implement like a system or a method or a framework that works, it's your life gets a lot easier, and then you see you like these. Well, for me, my goals and my dreams, I've always felt that I was going to attain them, but now it's like, yeah, I'm like, I could see like the light at the end of the tunnel more now.
Yeah. It's happening. Like you said, you made a post in the student group at one point, and you're like, it's happening.
It's like a really cool feeling. Yeah, and it's fun. Like now when I post stuff on my LinkedIn, I actually enjoy what I'm writing. And before I would just sit there and be like, like have to like put tips or what do I even write or just putting like boring thing. And I know that copywriting, I know like direct response and all that stuff, like you have to have a compelling headline and sub headline and then the content. But when you use that and then you incorporate the framework it's like that you should share and that you have in your coaching group, it's so much more powerful. It combines, the copywriting within the story, and it's actually fun to write.
Yeah, that's what I'm glad you bring that up because a lot of people who come into the program are in that place where they feel like they're just going through the motions. They're showing up, they're writing some content, but they're not enjoying it. They're just going through the motions. They're sitting down, looking at a blank screen, and they're going, "What do I write today? What tips should I share today?" And it's just not fun. And you know me well enough to this point to know that I do believe business can and should be fun, at least enjoyable. So yeah, so I'm glad you're having fun with it because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then what's the point? So
No, I feel that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, and so getting these results, right? So signing your first client, onboarding this first client, has this affected any other area of your life, in any positive way? What would you say?
I think for me, it's just the excitement of getting my first high ticket client and then feeling, more confident and just being like, wow, this is really exciting and getting, I know we just started a few days ago, but I know that we're going to get them the results that we talked about. And just being able to be like, oh, I can help more people and just excited for like the next one and the next one and the next one. So that's kind of what I think for me, it's like the possibilities of where this can really go. And that I'm thinking of all these ideas of like, okay, so when I help X amount of people, like, how do I grow? How do I scale? And that's like where my mind is. And I know I need to like, be present. I get that, but it's exciting just to be able to think about that too.
Yeah. And I do want to say this. So you primarily use LinkedIn. You applied my framework on LinkedIn solely.
LinkedIn,
You don't even do Facebook, right?
nothing. I just only LinkedIn. That's it. That's my number one.
Yeah. Because there's people who come into the program who are using Facebook as their main branding and lead gen source, and then there's some people who do LinkedIn, some are Instagram, and so you would say 100% the framework does work on LinkedIn, yes?
Oh yeah, like 100%. I mean, yeah, that's where my audience is, and that's where I got, that's where I'm getting the sales calls from there. So definitely work.
Yeah. And you also, I remember you saying at one point that you felt like your target audience was not responsive or cold or just a tougher niche. I've heard that from several coaches and consultants. And so, with this framework, did it surprise you, that it did connect so well with your target audience? What were your thoughts around that?
It did because I was investing a lot of time in writing my posts before, and I wouldn't get anything. And when I switched to your framework, that, my audience would actually, like my posts, or I could see that they viewed my profile, and then I would like message them and be like, hey, and then have more of that conversation where it seemed a lot more like warmer and not so like cold, like they don't really know me and they have no idea. And I know for me it's like the consistency of like having your name out there, them getting to know you, and just building those relationships, that's like super important, especially right now, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. At the time of, I just have to say this for the record. At the time of recording this interview, we are in the, are we still in the middle of it? I don't know. We're in a global pandemic, and Deni has still been able to do this. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And people are willing to spend money on the right things. And I think that people have this, some people, I'm not saying all people, but I think some people, are like, I'm just going to wait till this whole, like I've talked to some of my prospects that are like, oh, I'm just going to wait till this whole thing, passes. However, there's a lot of people out there that are willing to invest in, something that's going to, solve their problem and take them to their desire. And it's just a matter of connecting with those people, and they are out there. People are spending money.
Yep. Yep. You said it the way that I would say it, that I always say it, which is there's always people willing to pay premium and high ticket. It's just a matter of connecting with those people.
Yep.
Through your content, which is what you did. So yes, it's been very exciting. I'm super excited for you. And again, I told you this, the other day, but this really is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. This is your first high ticket client, and you're never going to forget this one. That's the cool thing is I love helping coaches and consultants, sign their 10th or 12th, or, if they've already been in business. But it's really cool to help somebody sign their first high ticket client, because that's one that you won't forget. You definitely won't. So yeah, it's been really exciting to witness and to watch. So yeah, but I do have to say, guys, for those of you guys watching this, Deni is the perfect example of somebody who you watched the webinar first of all, and you watched the whole thing. You watched the whole thing. You implemented, or you at least you tried to implement, right, on your own. But at the end of the day, you said, you know what, I want to get to where I want to go fast. So I'm gonna invest in myself and invest in my business. I'm gonna get direct help from person I need help from, and then you implemented like a mad woman, and you actually took action on what you learned from the very beginning, and look what happened. So yep.
Yeah, I do want to add that what's been super awesome is the weekly coaching support that you offer, and the fact that you're so hands-on, and you look at my stories and the images, and you give me feedback, and then I tweak and I implement, and it feels like I'm not in this alone. Like I have like a coach who's like guiding me, and it's like really awesome that you do that, because I know that a lot of other courses that I've been in, they wouldn't be like, okay, send me your stuff so I can look at it, and then I'm going to help you tweak it and make it better. It's just kind of like not like that. So I was super impressed, and I was like, wow, this is super worth, every penny that I paid. So yeah. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Don't make me all emotional. I'm still postpartum. I'm like a few weeks postpartum. I'm just kidding. People are going to be watching this and be like, she's insane. No. Yeah, it's been awesome. But like I said, it's only the beginning. So yeah, we'll probably do another interview a few months from now when you're fully booked and you'll have a waiting list, or who knows, you'll be launching your next thing to scale. So
awesome. Yep.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. So lastly, for people that are going to be watching this, maybe they've seen the webinar, maybe they haven't yet, or they're considering working with me, joining the program, etc. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, just from my story, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. But in any addition, if you're struggling with, attracting the right clients, the high ticket clients, and you struggle with like the sales call portion of it, it doesn't have to be that way. It could actually be fun, and it can be pretty easy, and Lauren is super supportive, and she'll guide you through it. And if you want to connect with your audience in a more authentic way, I would recommend, you taking this program. So
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being a action taker. Thank you for having awesome energy and bringing the energy to the group. Yeah, it's been awesome. So congratulations on your first client again. And yeah, I'm excited to see you go from here to here in the next very
awesome.
short while, because I know you'll do it because you keep implementing and you keep showing up on the calls and you do everything that anybody who's ever successful does. So
Awesome. Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you.